So, according to the demonologist, the gymnasium is clean.
Hello, welcome to DVD Commentary. I am Alison Brie.
Ken Jeong.
Dino Stamonian.
Dan Harmon.
Chris McKenna.
What the hell was that?
What was what?
That long, quiet lull. I don't like
All right.
That long, quiet
All right.
lull was us not knowing what to say.
Basic story. Here we go. Second to last episode. First part of the finale.
Shot actually
that we
last.
thought, yeah.
Yeah, can you, honestly, the actors might have a better memory than the writers about what happened when in terms of how the acts got switched from one episode to another.
Wait, which episode is
feel
this?
like-
I thought we're not doing
This is the first part of the finale.
This is the
Ass crack?
first part.
This isn't
of
ass
the
crack?
No, it's not ass crack,
Am I in
Dino.
this?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you're always playing your Dave Matthews.
Oh,
Be the
okay.
Dave Matthews.
Sorry.
So basically, we were shooting what is now Basic Sandwich, and we thought that it was the first part of the finale, but it was the second part of that episode. We were sort of like, we're starting with the end of the episode, they're writing the episode backwards.
What?
We'll fill you in on what happens at the beginning of this episode later, and then in the next episode, something crazy's gonna happen.
We thought we were being geniuses by going, you know what? You know what the hardest part of a finale is? The beginning of it. We're gonna write the end of it first and then figure out what the beginning is. And then what happened is, like, Schraub shot the whole first act of this episode as we were writing it, or the first act of the finale. And then we realized, you know what? We're not gonna have room for the rest of it. We got to push
Yes.
that. That's got to be the third act
And-
of the first part of the finale now.
Yeah, so Rob
Oh, here
Schraub
comes Schraub.
also...
Here he comes. He's running.
Oh God, Rob Schraub
God.
also shot a couple of scenes at the last
Lock the door.
scene of this episode. Second act. Second act of this episode.
That's called a third act.
Third act.
Nitwit.
All I remember is we were all just jumping around like maniacs, screaming "Buried treasure, buried treasure, buried treasure" for
that was
days.
awesome. Yeah.
And then suddenly someone came down, probably Dan, and was like, now this is the second episode and something else is gonna happen. We got one of those our talks where you kind of just explain.
I doubt I did. I mean, because
It was probably, maybe it was McKenna.
Yeah, it's Aaron Boy.
Maybe it was nobody.
Whatever
and
it
someone
is-
just was like, well, here's the thing we're
told
doing
yourself.
now.
You
The
told
thing is,
yourself.
once we realized that, though, we were so this is how dumb and exhausted we were. Once we realized, oh my God, we already have the third act of this episode written because we've just moved the whole first act into the third act of this episode. We're like, oh, easy. All we gotta do is figure out how to fill 12 pages.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
And it actually would have been because if we had done it right, because I remember sitting in the edit bay and I had to cut like 20 minutes out of each of these episodes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how did we
shot a lot of stuff.
There was a weird blend of genius and total incompetence on my part. Like there was a true like light bulb of like how to take a totally under the wire Titanic in the making schedule-wise situation and turn it in our favor. But that good idea quickly turned into just another way for me to make everyone lose their mind. And you're listening to this and going, I don't know what you mean, first act, second act of this one, that one. I truly, it's all, I don't remember myself.
No, this
But
is
we embraced it. I'm sorry, Dan.
This is really interesting because, like, as an outsider, I'm really fascinated to know what it's like.
You're on
to
fucking
act
staff.
and
that's the
write
thing.
on the show. What's it like?
You're an outsider because you
You're on
disappeared.
top of show. Your billing is top of show.
I mean, what's
act
it
on
like
the
to
show,
write
or
and act on this
consultant.
thing?
That doesn't work anymore, Dino.
Yeah. As an outsider.
As an outsider.
Dino at one point, I think at the end of season 3, he was like, "Can you kill me?" And on the set, because it's like he gets paid like not as much as a real actor to be Starburns. Like he's still locked into some price of like this guy's just showing up.
Yeah, somewhere out there, someone makes more than me playing Starburns.
Probably at a convention or something. But
Yeah. The live Comic-Con appearance at the higher quote.
so he's like, "Can you kill me?" I'm like, "Yeah, we can kill you." And then as a joke, we said at the end, "Well, he faked his death." And then season 5, I'm like, "Hey, Dino, you want a job in the writers' room?" Yeah, and we wrote for a couple of weeks, and then he's like, "What did you say?" You're like.
I love acting. It gets me out of the writer's room. What a great actor.
Yeah, no, it's always great to have two different gigs because you can lie to both about where you are.
You can play them against each other.
I was
Pino,
acting. I was writing.
Are you coming in today? They need me on set.
Come down to
Hey,
set.
Chris,
We're like,
who are you?
I can hear tiki music.
Chris, which one are you, the writer guy or the actor guy? Because I got a good line for both of you.
What you just saw was an anti-act break, which
I know,
is
that
always a
was
good idea when your
beautiful.
show's on the bubble. Continue to experiment with. It's like, hey, I'm homeless, but let's deconstruct cardboard.
Yeah. Hey, hardcore fans, let's see how hardcore you are.
Yeah.
But we really embraced the fact that when we moved that act break from the finale into this episode, to the whole third act, I think you were really like, well, then let's like really embrace the idea that let's not sweat breaking a story for the first two acts.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and
I
that
mean,
became Danny's storyline, is not having a story.
Right, in my typical head up the ass. I mean, that's we were describing in another commentary the Ken Jeong, Dan Harmon School of Acting, which is like Ken emailing like, can we do more with Chang? And then me writing into the script, Chang wants to have more done with him, and therefore Ken is able to put in this great performance. I guess I try to apply the same thing. If I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I just try to write a story about someone that doesn't know what they're doing. I don't think I should do that anymore. This story here with Abed talking to himself in a hallway. Okay, my bag of tricks is empty. I promise to be a regular TV writer from now on.
Do you think it's our most meta storyline, since he is kind of trying to escape the actual camera that's filming
it's
him?
definitely the G.I. Jeff episode is the first time we said, it's all a dream, and this is that first episode where we're just like, we're moonlighting, fuck it. Moonlighting season 5. Like, I don't even know. I just keep blaming the D&D episode because it put us so off schedule. I just kind of lost my mind.
Stick with it.
I became obsessed with production. I became obsessed with making the schedule and the budget. They play this game every year where it's in the second half of the season, they always start convincing you that you're not only over budget, but like it's tantamount to embezzlement. Like you're going to bankrupt the studio that's trying to make another Spider-Man movie.
For a while, I kept on asking the same thing. So what's your plan to make up the money? So what's your
standing
plan?
next to him, cracking his knuckles.
I mean, we're going to have to make 15, 20 pilots that never air in order to make up for all of this $200,000 extra that you now need to go get from a sandwich shop. Anyways, they kind of, I'm not going to blame them for the fact that I'm nuts and a baby, but I'm going to say, like, if I ever do another live action TV show, I just got to stop listening to people who are telling me that anything other than making a good show is what's at stake, because in season 3 you can see the same thing. Like I just start to let it get to me, this idea that I'm a bad showrunner, and then I try to become a good showrunner, and nothing's worse than that. Like nothing in terms of character development, storytelling. Like that's when that's when people start to go, how come I felt like you were back, and Annie's back, and Chang is funny again, and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden in the last 3 episodes it starts to drift and the answer is because I'm thinking about sets, and I'm thinking about schedule, and I'm not thinking about my pride and joy anymore, and it's all my fault.
Well, we were also being told, we were given the wink that we're going to get more episodes, and when you have more episodes, you can spread out and try to make up that money that you're lost. But then that didn't happen suddenly, and we found ourselves like up against it, and then we had to make this deal with Subway to get out of this hole. And it's so hard being us. But you guys always, the thing is that we were writing these pages and sending them down to you guys, and you guys always knock it out of the park. And we bring in at the last second, like
Michael McDonald. I was
McDonald
going to say, I wanted to give some credit to Michael McDonald because he
so
got
funny.
in that day, and not only had all the pages been rewritten, but you had you changed the name of his character. So when he came in to the hair and makeup trailer, he was like, he just had this look on his face, and I was like, "Are you okay? This happens all the time here."
Yeah.
And he was like, and he was kind of like, well, I was for a second, because I got the new sides, and I thought, oof, sucks for that guy, but my character is this other guy.
We were all sitting there scratching our head in the middle of the night the night before, like, how do we make this guy funny? What is his thing? And then Dan just started riffing like all of that stuff about, like,
I started doing an impression of the lawyer who does the sexual harassment.
Yeah.
The actors don't have to go to the sexual harassment thing anymore, but there's this guy.
We've never gone, and I think.
Yeah, I think it shows.
Yeah.
I know Allison's gotten us into a lot of trouble.
I'm doing strange things to Ken right now.
There's this guy who he looks a little bit like Michael McDonald. He carries like
Very fit.
There's a lawyer is like incredibly handsome, well-dressed, like strident, gallant, like confident, straight-backed lawyer figure who comes in and he talks to all the department heads about sexual harassment. And what do I mean by sexual harassment? So can anyone tell me what are the 3 things you're allowed to say and not say? And he just talks for 45 minutes. And I started doing an impression of him that it was just babbling about horses can be dogs and stuff like that. That was it.
Right. It's probably the most terrifying type of dialogue to get as an actor coming in to be a guest star on a show for a day that you get that morning. There's no real through line to.
But he got it.
He did
instantly.
amazing.
Like,
he did so, and
nailed it.
I think it's so funny when he's hanging off of the vending machine.
Yeah,
you know, he's always been good.
Everything
at that.
depended on him too. So
Exactly.
it was.
Right.
It's also worth noting that while he was shooting that outside scene where he's doing that monologue, the sun was plummeting in the sky.
Right.
That we had to do color correction. There was only it was our last day of daylight left, and Jay Chandrasekhar, Mr. Broken Lizard, was out there. He's that
amazing. We love Jay.
guy gives
Unflappable.
0 fucks. Like he gives 0 fucks. He gives a lot of fucks, and he's totally unflappable by my bullshit. He wants to make Community as good as it can be. The fucking sun was an orange half melon on the horizon, and everything was dark. And it was a matter of literal seconds that you had to get every word in the can when Michael McDonald was doing that. So I mean, actors. What can't live with them. ... Can't make a show without him. Unless you do animation.
Unless you do animation.
Speaking of actors,
Speaking of actors right here.
Look at him.
Whoa.
Look at that. Whoa.
I literally have no idea who Starburns is.
Look at that. Look at this actual shot
Now
outside.
This third act is actually directed by Schraub, or as he would call it, the second act.
Right. Yes. Now we're into Schraub territory.
Yeah, I don't know if we're legally allowed to say
Jared
that.
from Subway.
That's Jared. He was flown in from some place where he's talking about sandwiches across the country.
Saving of Greendale. Annie, I've generated a few ideas involving social media that I think might do the trick.
Annie.
You want us to tweet Save Greendale? I'm sorry, Annie. The reason I have 48 followers is that I don't exploit them. They come to me for atheistic rants and photos of my meals, not this obnoxiousness.
We need to make people aware that Greendale exists and needs help.
Why?
Because once the internet knows about something, it changes.
Right. Just ask Chris Brown or China.
Jeff, you made Annie cry.
Well, if it's any consolation, this is the last time that will ever happen.
If you're wondering where there was just 18 seconds of silence in your commentary, it's called libel. Anyways, all I'm saying is
I really want to hum right now.
all I'm saying is that the melting point of steel is a certain amount. I'm kidding. You just got
it.
Yeah.
Are we sure we can't stop?
I'm too drunk.
So this
to
is
get
called
it.
lazy Chang writing. This is what I'm guilty of all the time. Unless Ken writes an email that can. This is what Ken's talking about.
My wife's favorite part of this episode.
I love this
It's
part.
fucking funny though, man.
I love
so funny.
dude. This is my wife could not
ridiculous.
stop laughing. My wife was.
It is a
she went-
character that can. It's the only character that can get away with just
Exactly.
absolute
Exactly.
absurdity to the
Yeah.
point where, like, if you were watching Better Off Ted, and a character started acting that way,
Right.
you'd be like, Better Off Ted's broken. We have to fix it.
Right.
But like Chang is just
I agree.
He's Bugs Bunny.
he's mentally
yeah.
ill.
Yeah.
Proud of Subway School.
Which is not to say that he doesn't need to be grounded and defined and dimensionalized.
Now, this is James Michael Connor playing the Subway rep, I believe.
brilliant.
He is absolutely so funny. We brought him back. He was in an episode from
Season 3.
Yeah.
The Subway.
So coming up here is
Didn't Jim have to gain weight for that role?
Yeah. Right.
Originally, Annie says. So originally, Annie says, "So a 6-inch white bun," and the dialogue continues from there. And it was actually kind of flattering to Subway. The joke in the original scene was that like they kind of couldn't wait to eat the Subway or something like that. But then Subway had a note that said, "We don't call our bread buns, and we don't use."
They literally
that was
gave
their
you the note.
So we were like, again, using that philosophy. This is
Judo.
like, okay, let's have that character say, "We don't call our bread buns," and then Allison, speaking on behalf of the writers' room, says, "Thanks for making our joke accurate. Now it's hilarious."
And then we had a joke about it white, and they're like, oh, also it's not white, it's Italian, and then we cut out the whole thing.
Well, because this episode was 48 minutes long, but Abed could be a diversity scholarship to Subway School. What are you exactly? And Abed says half Italian, half whole grain wheat. Meaning half Polish, half either Arabic or Indian, depending on whether you're going with the. No, I mean it's.
Oh, right.
The actor.
Yeah, either actor or character. I'm so drunk.
Wait, is whole wheat Palestinian or Indian?
Whole wheat is whole wheat would be Arabic because in the show, Danny Pudi is playing a half Palestinian, half Polish kid because I'm not racist.
Right.
That's also why Ken Jeong is playing.
Korean.
Chang is Chinese. Ken is Korean. Because we're not racist.
Not racist.
Because if you say that only Chinese people can play Chinese people, that's racist.
What's Yvette playing?
She's Malcolm McDowell.
You may have noticed another silence.
This is probably my favorite trio. These three characters, these three knuckleheads.
Yeah,
We had so much fun. But you know what? I feel like this was the first time that really the three of us have been together.
You all have an overlap, like in your Venn diagram. Like you all have flights of fancy. You all have like a romantic streak.
Yeah, those three characters, it's possible for them to like land on the moon or be in jail. Like, yeah, it's Troy Annie Abed thing. The Dean slides right in.
Right.
Mm-hmm,
It's a great rhythm.
I want to watch those guys solve mysteries.
Why didn't
we
Joel
wanted to have our
shave?
spin-off show.
Shouldn't Joel shave before he goes on camera?
At one point, didn't we have to? Sometimes Joel's stubble, like we have to, like
You have to match it, and
I
then they have
remember
to put
at one
fake
season,
hair
one
like
episode,
on
roll his
him.
face.
Yeah.
Sesame
They
seeds.
They roll it in like
Everything is
pre-shaved
bread-based.
flex hair.
Grain-based.
Bread-based stubble.
He's on a low carb diet. That's how he thinks about it.
The only carbs you can have is attached to the face.
I'm worried about Abed and
So, do we talk about the shipper concept and how? I look, if there was no such thing as shipping, I don't think that you shouldn't be a shipper. I think that the people who watch TV through that lens are watching TV in an enormously. Thank God they exist. They're responsible for community, being 5 years old. But I just want to point out that if you don't watch any of this Jeff Britta / Jeff Annie stuff through that lens where there has to be a winner or a loser, or there has to be one thing or another, that it is just a story about people who have known each other for a great deal of time, have very complicated relationships. Jeff has had sex with Britta in casual,
many times.
Like Jeff and Britta share things that
For
Jeff and Annie
years.
do not share. There are chemicals that race through Jeff's blood that don't race through his blood when with Britta, and yet with the definitions of
It's
what
not
is
like he doesn't find Annie attractive. It's just like
I thought he thought Annie was ugly.
Wasn't that the original character name Ugly Annie?
I guess what I'm saying is that I'm sorry
They
that by the
changed it to
time
that
it
after I
hits
got
your
cast.
viewers' eyes and ears that you're parsing it as, oh, Jeff Annie versus Jeff Britta and all that stuff. Like, I try really hard not to service that stuff, and I know
You
that
always say one's Betty and one's Veronica. That's all you tell us.
for 5 years.
Just try to find stories, and sometimes
Yeah.
they're very organically. It just sort of feels like, okay, it's all over. How would Jeff handle it? How would Britta handle it? How would Annie handle it? Going through the list, it was sort of like, oh, one way that Jeff and Britta would handle it is that they would fall back into an unhealthy thing. Remember Britta in the pantry in the Halloween episode in season 3? That's how Annie sees Britta when she's telling her horror story. And she's right to a certain degree. Britta is the old slipper that you can fit your foot in. That's not, there is no danger and there is no risk. And to a certain degree, therefore, there is a deeper form of love. And yet, in other ways, there is no love at all. I don't, I'm sorry to everyone who ships. I'm really sorry.
No, I think you keep it exciting.
Is this the special
the
2-hour episode?
Yeah, but
What's
they already
going
did a
on?
commentary.
This is going on
for the
forever.
other.
Ken, did you write tomato? Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
I love that joke.
I also want everyone to know that before we ran in for that last part, Rob Schraub would come to us back in the hall and be like, jump up and down, jump up and down, yell buried treasure. So the three of us were just literally losing our minds before we would run in and do that. Just buried treasure, buried. And it was like a great workout.
I was watching that on the feed while we were still writing the other stuff, and I was like, God damn it, these guys, like,
They'll just do whatever we say. It's
I know. It was like this wave of guilt. I was like, man, they're fucking like they've got my back no matter what. And I'm fucking up.
At that point, we had no idea what the episode was really about. It was funny.
I felt like I bet Manson had that feeling just moments after he sent him over to the. And he's like, what am I doing? It's just a Beatles album.
Oh,
I mean, it's great to be respected, but for God's sake, I already have a ranch.
That song took 5 hours.
Ken has something to say. You like this tag?
I love this tag.
We were researching
Goodbye,
British
everyone.
flowers. We were researching British
More
flowers.
vodka.
5 hours.
Yeah, we spent like 6 hours writing an authentic feeling British folk song about an old town. Totally wasted because they're singing it. You can't understand it.